Welcome to Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, New Hampshire's modern rock. Matt Connerton sitting here at Styling Souls in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. StylingSouls.com for more information on this amazing place. Rob Kleiner is working the board. Be sure to check out Rob's new website, yourband.info. And if you're in a local band or have anything to do with the local music scene, or you're just kind of interested in it, that's definitely a site that you want to be familiar with. And I'm sitting here with Mike Loughlin from the band Mantra, as well as some other bands. How are you, Mike?
Hello, I'm very, very, very good. Welcome to be in Manchester. Glad to be here.
Yes, good. Well, we're glad to have you.
Manchester.
That is where we are, yes.
That's what we call it back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about. You've got a lot going on. You've got a big show coming up, right?
I do have a show coming on. I'm thinking about getting out of Manchester and New Hampshire as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I'd have one more show. It'd reunite my two bands I was in. My first band, Something,
mm-hmm.
and then Mantra, which was the one I was in for longer. And I have a new thing I've been recording for a while, this new thing called The Glorious Noise. And we'll be at the show as well. But yeah, it's August 21st
mm-hmm.
in Guilford, New Hampshire, at this place called the Gunstock Inn. It's an old friend of mine who's used to promote us and let us play places in Laconia. It was a place called Goodfellas back in the day. His name's Mike Zach. He's been always kind to me. Yeah,
I know him very well.
Yeah, he's been a good guy, and he asked me to play a show, and I'm putting it together. East is East as well. Another local band is playing with us at that show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm hoping to see lots of familiar faces and some non-familiar ones as well, because I get bored by faces.
Do you?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be lots of faces there, especially after listening to this show.
I hope that all the people who listen to this, especially, I heard the show is really big in the Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
So especially like Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah. We're huge there.
Well, yes. And I wish there was more people listening in Fort Lauderdale and less clothing on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's this time of year, there's probably very little clothing on in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes. As the temperature drops, so goes the clothing.
Absolutely.
Wait, that's the other way around.
It is the other way around. That's all right.
You know what? You know what?
Well, we'll come back and talk, but let's play a track. What do you want to play?
We'll jump right into it then. Fine. I'll go right to a song on this album called Crawling. It's one of the songs from our set we play. It's a good tune, and I hope you dig it.
All right, this is Crawling from Mantra here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
That's just what you say.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, New Hampshire's modern rock. Matt Connerton from IPMNation.com sitting here with Mike Loughlin of the band Mantra and of the band Something.
And of the, currently a new thing called The Glorious Noise, which
All right.
I'm really excited by.
Let's talk about that because, maybe I'm being a little selfish, but I know very little about your new project, so I want to hear about that
No
first.
one actually does. I mean, I played one song live with two of the guys from the band. One's this guy, Sean Snar, who used to play bass in Something, and one, Sean Ouellette, who played drums in Mantra. And I also have Andrew Hillman, my drummer from Something, playing bass in this thing as well. It's just new stuff I have. I was kind of, I don't know, I actually know Matt. Yeah, I know you, Matt. And I'm a pretty restless songwriter. And I read a lot, and I couldn't stop playing, and I was very excited to keep playing. And I was working on songs, and I brought some to my drummer, Sean. And I was like, here's some stuff. And we recorded some stuff, and still kind of in the process. We couldn't meet up, but it's just kind of new stuff. Some stuff sounds very different from anything I've ever done before. And some stuff kind of has thematic and kind of sound similarities, but I'm just ready to play that stuff. I'm actually more excited about playing that stuff than the other stuff.
Are you?
Yeah, I mean, I reunited with Something, and it felt good to play those songs, but in Mantra is just easy because we've done it for so long. But this is just something totally different, and I haven't said the words too often, so I like doing things I haven't done too often. So, it was good. It's different. It's familiar yet different. So.
In this new project, is it The Glorious Noise or just Glorious
The Glorious
Noise?
Noise. The Glorious Noise. We're going to make a divine racket. So,
is everybody in the band people that you've played with in other bands?
it is.
Okay.
I'm very incestual. I stay with my familiars, I like it better that way. It's just easier for me. Because I'm a very distinctive player. I'm not necessarily a great guitar player or a great anything musician-wise, but I use them as tools. I have my own style. And the people I've played with I know how to play with them. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't hard for us. I'm not like a lead guitar player, and I'm not like a fantastic guitar player or even at anything like that. But the people I'm comfortable with, I enjoy that chemistry things. That's way more important to me than how great of a guitar player you are and how skilled of anything you are, bassist, drummer. To me, have adequate skill, but know how to treat a song and treat the music like it should be treated. And that's more my thing anyway. So, what
do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that about treating the music the way it should be treated or the song the way it should be treated?
Okay, for instance, I remember reading or seeing a DVD or interview with Metallica, and they were talking about how Les Claypool was going to try out for Metallica and bass. Now, anyone who knows Les Claypool, Primus, whatever, all sorted other projects, Les Claypool is a fantastic bass player.
No, he can play anything. Yeah.
Very distinct bass player, and he's the kind of bass player who dominates the song. You need to have people who, if you had Les Claypool and Metallica, it wouldn't fit. You need to have people who come together and gel correctly. It doesn't matter how great of a skill you are. He wouldn't fit in a band like Metallica.
Sure.
So you got to find those people who understand. For me, the most important thing is to kind of understand the philosophy of what your band's about and kind of knowing what you're trying to achieve sonically, emotionally, whatever. And when you come together, there's that kind of magical feeling when 3, 4, whatever other people are in a room together and they just get it. And you just don't have to talk, and you don't even do anything. It's like this psychic magic's going on in the room, and you're creating something great from nothing. Those jamming moments are, it's like flying or something. It's like, I don't know, it's just magical to me. And that's the most important thing to me in songwriting with others, like I guess forming songs together as a band, is knowing where you're going to go. Okay, here comes, so you don't have to speak about it because that's when the really good stuff happens. That's the stuff I like the best. And that sometimes is my favorite part about playing music. Live is one thing, being in a studio is one thing, but then the practicing and rehearsing and making up stuff is another thing. 3 separate animals. I guess you could say the writing is the birth of a child. I mean, the procreation of a child, it's the good stuff. It's the sex, I guess you could call it. Being in the studio is kind of like the birthing process. And then going live is kind of like the celebration, the cigar in the hand and the champagne glass and the toast. It's like, hey, here's our boy, our girl. It's a beautiful thing, don't you think? And stuff like that, so.
Well, how did this project start? Did you decide that you needed something new and then you went to grab these guys and bring them in, or was it more organic?
I had stuff laying over from Mantra because I had songs sitting on the shelf that, for whatever reason, just weren't getting played.
Okay.
And I have lots of songs that weren't getting played, and some of the stuff was just stuff that a few members of the band might not have been interested in doing. So it's kind of stuff that I always wanted to do selfishly, but it wasn't fitting into our time constraints or whatever we were doing. So I really concentrated on, I want to get this stuff done. You know, they were sounding a little different. Some of them are kind of keyboard based. So it's like more, it just was different in a kind of a take and from what other people in my band were into. And so I was like, well, I'm doing this no matter what. So I got people around me who embraced it, and I've kind of gone from there. And like I said, it's kind of what I'm really most excited about playing right now. So
was this completely after Mantra, kind of, because you've taken a break with Mantra? You guys have been on a break, right?
Yeah.
So did this new project start after that, or were you kind of already thinking about doing something else while you were in Mantra?
I never wanted Mantra to end, first of all. I'll say
Sure.
that right now. Mantra, I've always viewed as, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like Guns N' Roses to me, because actually Something, my first band, I would have kept that name if I kept going anyway. Same thing with Mantra, because Mantra is the same thing to me. It's for the most part, it's the songs I write and the people I've been in the band with. But
very similar, correct, between the two bands, Something and Mantra?
Yeah, there's always been, for me, you can't define the sound of either band, I don't think. I mean, we have some rock stuff. That's like, I would say from a loose point of view, it's rock. But it's not, oh, they sound metal, or they sound jammy, or they sound punky. It's kind of like a bunch of things in there. There's different elements in there. So
I've always had a hard time describing either band that you've been in. I've always had a hard time describing it to other people.
Yeah,
because you have such a confluence of influences there.
I like music. I like creating sounds and I like chasing the kind of melodies, and I like that a lot. So it's, I guess you could say it's the stuff that some of the stuff's brand new. I mean, I had about 7 songs I wrote I was kind of really concentrating on, and then we're going to be playing 4 of them with a cover song when we go play out. One of them was written, the riff was written while in Mantra, but it kind of came into a different direction when I started playing it with other people. And it's probably the most familiar type of song to the stuff we've done before. But the other stuff, the newer stuff is, like I said, it's more rhythmic. I would say it's more based on rhythms and keys and stuff. So I'm excited to play it live in front of people. Like,
yeah.
I'm ready to toast with a cigar. You know, I'm ready for that. So, and I guess that's the best thing I'd say about it. You know, I get bored easily musically. The stuff I listen to, the stuff I'm trying to play, and I'm trying to push myself to get outside, because anyone who plays music knows you fall into your ruts. You have the familiar way of the chord arrangements you play, the kind of things you write about. You get into those patterns, and so that's why sometimes I try to just bust myself out of it and just try to listen to other things, or just dream it up in a different way, or just hit notes in a different way on a piano, or whatever. I like to try and force myself, because I was feeling for a while my familiarities. I was like feeling those.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, okay, that chord progression sounds familiar, or the way it's strummed or something like that. So I was like, this has to change. I got to push forward. Because that's the one thing, I mean, I'd say about, and this is not a knock, but it's kind of like an encouragement factor, is most of the bands I hear around this area, to me, I got bored with a lot, not because they were terrible, but because they were lack of imagination. Mm-hmm. And we used to always play with lots of metal bands and lots of punk bands, and it was just the same. I mean,
there was never anybody around here who sounded quite like what you were doing.
There wasn't. I liked that. I liked being the alien, but it was hard to find a niche in a place like this where there's not much. You know, there's not. We really were lucky that a lot of the bands who were in other kinds of styles and genres were really into. The musicians always dug us. That was one thing I can always say. But when you go to a show and you're expecting to see, like, I guess you'd say a new metal band, and we show up on the stage doing sometimes psychedelic rock stuff, it wasn't expected. But still, we sometimes won them over a lot, and that was encouraging. So,
well, I was going to say, to your credit, I've seen certainly Mantra, and I only saw Something a couple of times, but certainly Mantra. I distinctly recall a number of situations where it was that type of scenario, and generally speaking, you guys would win people over, because I think not only the other musicians who were there playing that night, but the crowd would recognize, you know, it's not so much about playing loud if you're playing with metal bands, or playing with a lot of attitude if you're playing with punk bands, but you know, it's about appreciating the songs. And regardless of style, if the songs are there and are really strong, you're inevitably going to win some people over.
I think so. I mean, I agree with that. I think if you have something, I think the one thing, our strength, everything I've ever been a part of, the bands I've been in, the strength we have is our songs sound honest, and they sound. I like all the bands I like, and the people and artists. Everything I like, it has a certain kind of heart and soul into it. It's very legit, and it's like not. faux angst or faux. It's coming from a truly raw place. And I mean, if anyone's seen me play before, they'll know I close my eyes 70% of the time.
You do, yeah.
And I it's because I'm somewhere else, and it's like almost hard to look at people sometimes. It's almost too much. And then when I do, I feel like almost this kind of intimate connection with them right away. It's like, holy, can I curse on this? I don't even know if I can curse, but
No.
holy nugget.
If you slip, we'll edit it. But.
Yeah, holy Moses or whatever. Shiite. I don't know. I get very caught up when I'm playing live, and the stuff, I've always felt that the stuff we've done, and it's not to toot my own horn or toot what we do, but I've always felt I've never been intimidated live with other bands, because music's not about competition, but when you go up there, you want to kick ass, and you want to get up there and own the room and say, well, let's go up there and show everyone what we are about. We're going to play mantra music or whatever, whatever band you're in. And that was kind of a thing that, again, some of the kind of differences in our band's ethos, I guess you'd say, some of the people, the members, we had the personalities were different, and we came from very different places in mantra. And sometimes that was tricky at times, because we get booked on a lot of shows, and then sometimes there was a slippery slope sometimes in the band with what songs we're going to play. But I was always confident that we could win over, because our songs, I would say there's one thing, like I said, we have heart and soul, but we always had strong melodies in our tunes.
Definitely.
And we played the kind of music that I thought was built more for arenas than bars. Like we really do. We have it has
a big sound.
We're a big sounding band, and it's not like, I always felt funny was watching the Rolling Stones play like stadium rock. They're really a bar band. They're playing bar riffs. They're not built for 80,000 people.
Sure.
Those are meant to be in a sweaty place, maybe a theater at the biggest, but sweaty people gyrating their hips, drinking some PBR or whatever it is. And seeing the girl over there in the leather pants and smelling that, scent of like sex and whatever else, alcohol, that's a good Rolling Stones song with those riffs.
Right.
Whereas bands like U2 and the bands that I'm more like Jane's Addiction and U2 and the big bands that have that cascading sound, certain bands are meant for, the Muse is a band, like right now Muse is a band that's meant for a stadium. There's certain bands that have a stadium sound. We're more of an arena sound, I think. I'm not sure if we're stadium sound, but we have a big sound, and I think our songs would go well always with lights. And I always get jealous when I go see a show. I'm like, that's where we should have. Our songs would work so much better. Because imagine, I'll give you an example. Imagine seeing a song like, another big arena band like Coldplay. Imagine seeing Clocks performed at a bar.
It would be weird.
It'd be weird. It's a piano riff, which is like, and it's this very kind of expansive tune. It would not feel right. It's a song that deserves lots of area and space to kind of float around in, and it just deserves that. Because whenever I listen to that song, I feel like flying. I just feel like there's a certain kind of launching off, and lots of bands like that. Like, you hear, like I said, Muse before, or U2, you hear certain songs where the Streets Have No Name would not fit playing in like a room. It's a great song, but it deserves a large, because it has a God-sized sound.
It does, yeah.
And, you got to let God take his big feet. So he needs to walk around with those big shoes. And it's just big. And that's kind of the same thing that I've always gone for. I mean, I like intimate music just as much. But I think that band-wise, typically, I'd say on a general sense, we're definitely aimed for epic, type of stuff. We always wanted to be big. Great quote of Noel Gallagher: if you're not in it to be as big as the Beatles, it's a hobby and go home.
I like that.
And I love Noel Gallagher anyway. So
he's one of the most quotable guys in rock and roll.
He's a very quotable man. His brother is an absolute douche. Can I say douche? Well, can I say?
And they're both hilarious.
Well, it's very fresh anyway, so it freshens things up. So I don't understand why that's even an insult. It freshens things up. But no, I love Noel Gallagher. I love Oasis too. But
absolutely,
whatever. I like I said before, I like music that feels like it can change your life sometimes, either whatever that may be. There's other bands that all my bands I love. Pearl Jam, Nine Inch Nails is a big band, big sounding band, a different kind of sound-wise, but I mean, Verve is one of my favorite bands. And there's other, Jeff Buckley, huge voice, man, but his songs are more intimate to me. But I don't know. I guess the common Jack White, two-piece band. But when you hear that guy, that is coming from a raw place. It seems genuine to me. That's one thing I never liked about a lot of the new metal bands is it sounded like I used to call it faux angst music. It just sounded like they wanted to be angry just because it was. And I don't like pictures of bands whenever I played out clubs. I don't know. You guys have probably seen these things too. Is that you see those guys and they all have the scowl on their face. They're all like somehow. What is it about American rock? Here's a question. I'm going to ask you this. What is it about American hard rock that makes them have to make it sound like you have to be a tough fighter and you have to play heavy because somehow it's about being tough? Mm-hmm. Whereas we're talking about Oasis, those guys were like criminals. Yeah. They're street thugs, but they made really great pop songs.
Absolutely.
If you go to England, some of those the toughest guys are making the most beautiful music. Whereas over here, it's a much different culture. It's more like that kind of whole military, like the guys who play, like drowning pools using the military. Bodies at the Floor is a classic military song. Most of those bands it's more about, I will kick your ass and I'll play a heavy riff. It's I don't know. To me, great songwriting needs a little bit of sensitivity. I don't know. Call me crazy.
I hear what you're saying. Absolutely. Well, let's hear another song. I want to hear an example of this big sound.
Big sound. Well, I'll give you a song. Play a song off there. It's one called "Can't Stay Here." I guess you could say almost dedicated to why I'm leaving. Trying to get out of here. Not that I don't love the place, like I said, but I'm thinking I'm headed somewhere else.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about that after the song. But okay, so this is a great song. This is "Can't Stay Here" from Mantra here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, New Hampshire's modern rock. Matt from IPMNation.com sitting here at Styling Souls with Mr. Mike Loughlin from the band Mantra and Something and The Glorious Noise. So,
Hello.
So why are you leaving? You are headed for the Big Apple, correct?
I am headed for the Big Apple. That's at least the plan.
After the show, you've got this big show coming up.
But the goal date is September. If I don't leave by September, that doesn't mean I'm not going.
Okay.
But the goal is September. I've thought about it for a long time, but for other reasons, I've been here. I was in bands and I had relationships here, so I didn't leave. But I've always felt like, the great thing about playing music now is there's the internet. And you can be a band from Des Moines, Iowa, or Halifax, Nova Scotia, wherever you are, and you could put your stuff on and play music, and people can hear it. It's great. However, there are certain types of... It's still the old-fashioned way of playing a place and having someone see you is not going to happen in those locations. Whereas if you play... I still believe if you play somewhere else, you go out playing, it's more likely if you're in New York or Los Angeles or Memphis or something that people might see you. And New York attracts me. I just like the madness and the energy of it as well. There's a certain part of me that I crave that. Like, I love the beauty of the Northeast. I love New Hampshire. But, there's the other part of me that's that ridiculous cliche artist to me, if you want to call it that. But, I'm attracted to the energy of the city like that. And I like being around where the action is.
Sure.
And that's inspiring to me. I've gone there many times, and I'm not uncomfortable there at all. I know my way around. It's
a lot of great music comes from there, and a lot of great songs have been written about New York.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It feels like the center of the world, and for lack of again, it's not. I feel like I want to be doing something that's in the center of the world. I feel much more comfortable around that kind of situation. I like lots of people, but I always feel connected to... It sounds ridiculous probably to some people, but I feel more connected to, the Eddie Vedders and the Sean Penns of the world than I do the guy who works down the road at the pizza joint. I'm on the same economic and certain kind of level as they are. I wish I had the funds of the other two, but it's not even about that. It's more like I feel like if I was out at a bar or somewhere, who would I be gravitating to if they weren't famous? It's those kind of people, and I feel like I like being around that. Like I said, that the people who I can be stimulated by and kind of come back and forth with things, and I just need it. I need a change, I guess, for now. Like I said, it just where I'm from Laconia, and it's kind of feel like a ghost town to me now, and there's just too much damage there in some ways, and I just need to get away, and a fresh start would be good. And where else would you go than New York City?
Did you grow up here?
I grew up here. Yeah. I grew up in Laconia, New Hampshire, and great, fantastic, great upbringing, fantastic, had a great time, but, I just feel like it's time to go. it's not, I have an itch, and I need to scratch it, at least for now.
Is it hard to leave behind what you've done here, though, musically?
I'm telling you right now, I had this conversation with Andrew, was in Something and in The Glorious Noise as well. The stuff we're doing now, we had a moment of rehearsal about 2 weeks ago, and my comment to him was, I felt like God walked in the room. It was four of us in the room, and it felt like I picked up a guitar for that first time, just starting in a band again. And
really?
We didn't even look, and it was like we got chills. We'd never played together before. It was like our first time together as a four-piece. I had the songs written. I'd play with each of them individually.
Sure, they're all people you've played with in the past, but not as
I've even played
unit.
The new songs with each of them individually, but never four of us coming together.
Sure.
And we did it, and it just sounded so good. And I was like, I had a moment of like, well, if I do stay, at least there's this. Like, I feel like there's something very salvageable here, and it got me really excited, and it got me nervous because I was like I said before, I'm not someone who... I could never just join a band and be a singer or be a guitar player in someone else's band. I'm not a hired gun type of guy. Mm-hmm. It has to be a band that I'm kind of the chief songwriter in, or at least the sound has to come, because like I said, I'm not a great musician. I kind of know they're tools for me, mm-hmm. Like a David Bowie type. Like, I use them, but I have a very much my own way of playing them. So for me, it has to be that kind of way. And I feel like I'm leaving. It's almost like I met a girl who's really great, and there's that what if,
Uh-huh.
and that's got me thinking, and it's kind of messing with my head a little bit.
I can imagine.
And I mean, but
Maybe you can talk them into going to New York with you.
well, two of them have children and are married.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of them's married, and but two of them have children.
They have
but,
anchors.
Yeah. So that's kind of that's part of the reason why playing in a band is rough. I mean, I'm a single chap, and I have time, but I realize others don't, and that's kind of a hard thing to find. Is because when you find those people you like playing with and you just gel with, it's hard to not, like I said, because being in a band is like being in a relationship. It really is. You find those people who, like the same way, if you have a girl, your guy, whatever it is, you feel comfortable around them, and they get you, and those kind of intimate moments, you can just get each other. That's what being in a band's like. It's like you have fights, and they're expected, and you make up, and you have the sex with each other. Well, no, you don't have that. Yeah, it's a very intimate thing, and when you find those people, like I said, it's just really hard to leave it. And I kind of had that feeling. And I was talking about Sean as well, the drummer, and he said he had a similar feeling. He's like, I feel good again. I feel clean and like a fresh start in a great way. And it's going to be hard. So all you people come on the 21st, either way, you'll see it. I hope that you'll see the chemistry and what it is. I mean, I'm torn. Like I said, I do plan on leaving, but if I don't, the reason probably would be because of music again. Because part of the reason why I'm going is because of music. Like unfortunately, I can't stop. It's one of those. It's a nasty little thing. Like I can't. It's like I don't know how some people play bands or do things because they just like doing it. I can't not, and it's actually really frustrating at times, and it's cost me relationships. So and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it's like when you're with a gal, like that's my heart, but music is my soul, and you want those things to match, and I can't give up on. I can't. I realize that's a tricky thing, but I don't have a choice. I can't not do it. And
absolutely,
and it's frustrating. So
you have to do what you were put here to do. Period.
I mean,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and it's also unfortunate. The things I'm good at are things that are risky and tricky. I also write,
but can also have the greatest reward.
Yeah, they do, and the things that it's one of those things that if you go back like to a high school reunion or something like that, you see old friends or whatever after years of not seeing them. Some could be very successful and wealthy, like insurance salesmen, but when you grow up, you never dream of being an insurance salesman.
That's true.
You go and you like the people. Like I actually went to my reunion, and my friend paid for it because I wasn't going to go. But he paid for me to go.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, and I was like, I went and I talked, and I was probably, a lot of my friends were doing very well, but they were more attracted to the fact that I was playing music than the fact that they were like, I had one friend was an accountant who was making tons of money, and said he was bored to tears.
Sure.
He couldn't he was working like 80 hours a week, and he was bored to tears. It sucked. And most of the people, there's that kind of, it's why it's why you find the attraction to, I think, musicians the most general in life anyway. It's because they're doing something liberating and freeing, and it's very attractive to see people like that. You're doing something that you're throwing caution to the wind, and you're making things that everyone is touched by. And there's something those are the people I like hanging out with. Those are the people I like being around, and you know why that is what it is, but it's risky. But still, I always feel like if you feel you have to do it, then do it. Because I don't want to wake up when I'm 50 years old saying I didn't. Because A, I can't help it, but B, that's what I'm good at. I know I am, and it's a very tricky situation.
Well, listen, you brought your guitar, and I'm curious. Are you going to play something for us from the Glorious Noise?
Yeah, I was going to play a new song. So I'm not saying I'm bored with the old stuff, but I'm really wanting to play something new. So I'm going to play a new song. It's called "Don't Let the Music Stop." And, I'll do that.
All right.
So, I'll get that ready. And all right, I was going to ask you a question. I asked all the ladies, do you want to hear me unzip? This is one of the most magical. This is one of the greatest sounds. This is one of the greatest sounds ever. It really is. That sound. It's like, this is going to be a good time.
for eternity and so much for the best. These lies, they've gone to my head. So much for the fire, baptism and desire. We let them burn out, I guess. We're talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. So much for the prophecy, so much for brown-eyed bliss. I blink and look what I miss. So I swim a little closer, but my hands won't touch when I reach out to you up above. I'm talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about us. Talking about love. The soul sister is shine out here in the dark. You made up your mind, now I'm making a noise. Cool water, it burns all straight to my heart. Come on now. Come on now, don't let the music stop. So much for the hijack nights and dances in the dark. Now where are you? Where is the spark? Here comes the ocean to wash away the pain. Bonnie and Clyde, watch the bullets rain. We're talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. Oh, soul sister, you shine out here in the dark. You made up your mind, now I'm making a noise. Cool water, it burns all straight to my heart. Come on now, don't let the music stop. Don't let the music stop. Now, oh soul sister, you shine out here in the dark. You made up your mind, and now I'm making a noise. Cool water, it burns all straight to my heart. Come on now, don't let the music stop. Don't let the music stop. Don't let the music stop.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet, New Hampshire's modern rock. Matt from IPMNation.com sitting here at Styling Souls in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Rob Kleiner, once again, I'll mention, is working the board, and he's got a great new site, yourband.info. So if you have anything to do at all with the local music scene, definitely check out that site because it's very, very cool, and there's some good resources there. Also, tiderecords.com, which is also Rob's site. And I should mention, too, that he's a member of Captain Chet Lawson's Snake Oil Review. Great band that you definitely want to check out. And I'm sitting here with Mike Loughlin from the band Mantra and Something and his new project, Glorious Noise. And we heard, what was the name of that song you just played earlier?
Don't Let the Music Stop.
Don't Let the Music Stop. So we heard an acoustic version of that. And I assume you're going to play that at the big show you're doing?
We will be playing at the big show, yeah.
So, how is that going to work now? Is it going to be, are you actually playing with all three bands that night?
I am. We have friends of ours, this band called East is East, who I legitimately feel is, if they're not the best band around here, I think they're just one of those bands that I believe if they push hard, they can be big. They're one of those bands that might not fit in to a genre scene around here, but they're a legitimately good band, and I like them. They're friends of ours too.
And I would add to that, they've come a long way.
They have, absolutely.
I still remember the first time I ever saw them live. It was at Millie's Tavern. It was maybe 2.5 years ago, and I thought they were all right. When I see them now, I think they're just really solid, and their songwriting has really evolved.
I remember talking, I think I was at the show maybe with you, or I saw something like that.
I think so, yeah.
And I think I said to you, just wait.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think they have that in them. Because again, there's certain intangibles I look for in bands, and I thought they had it. There was something about them that they're really good.
I agree.
And then Something is my old band, so we're gonna play that night. I'm playing like 6 or 7 songs with them. I'm gonna do, like I said, 5 songs with the Glorious Noise, and then Mantra's gonna close the set out with a good like hour 15-minute set. So
okay,
it's gonna be a lot of music. It's like 9 until 1 at the Gunstock Inn in Guildford. If you know the Gunstock area at all, it's right before Gunstock. It's actually called Cherry Valley Road. 580 Cherry Valley Road, I believe, is the address. So for all you people with your Garmins, go for it and type that in. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. It's I feel like it's almost sad. It's almost like an obituary, eulogy I get to play at my own funeral in some ways, which would be surreal. But have you ever wondered that before? Like, who would show up at your funeral?
I don't think about that.
Is it strange that I do?
No, because I think a lot of people do think about that kind of thing. Probably most people do.
I've always thought about. I've actually thought about before, like, what if I faked my death and just kind of hung out in the church? I always thought how Tupac's supposedly alive.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's impossible because Tupac's personality type is not going to let him be that way.
True.
Whereas someone I always thought that could do that would be someone like Maynard of Tool. Like if someone could like disappear and have that mystical like whatever, and then possibly like a phoenix and rise again years later. He's got that kind because they're already cryptic and enigmatic.
That's true.
They have that kind of, which is a band. If I was to say a band I would love to be in, not necessarily because sonically, but kind of the way they operate, is a band like Tool or Fish, which is a band I don't even like at all. But there's bands that have super success. I don't like, so forget Fish because I'm going to say Tool. They're bands that are well respected, super successful. They don't have to be like Britney Spears or like, be like Pearl Jam or U2, whereas Bono can't go to the supermarket. Britney Spears can't go to the store. Lady Gaga, well, she's hiding behind lots of costumes, so maybe people don't know who she is.
Yeah, she might get away with it.
She might get away, but like the kind of freedom of being a person, but still having all that success,
absolutely,
is the ideal. And I always thought, I was always kind of envious of Tool that way, that no one even knew what they looked like forever. I mean, most people, if Maynard walked in here, people might go, "Oh, who's the dwarf?" He's I heard it's like 5'2" or something like that. So he's a little man, but they make huge music and like no one knows who they are.
It was like that for Kiss for the first 10 years of their career.
Yeah, and there's something beautiful about that because you get to be a person and still do what you do.
Exactly.
So,
so the show, so it's at the Gunstock Inn, and what's the date again?
August 21st. It starts at 9. That's on a Saturday night.
Are you at all nervous about playing in 3 different bands that night, or?
It's not. I mean, I've played 3.5-hour shows before.
Sure.
So I mean,
you're up for it.
I've done it. I can tough it out. It's all right. Whatever. I mean, it'll be. we'll be playing the second and third set, so I'm not scared. No, I'm not scared about it at all.
Cool.
I'm kind of nervous about the emotional connection of all the things more than, because I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of people there I know, and the kind of whole getting to that place that you were in a song is going to be different. Like, I sang a lot of these songs, I wrote a lot of the something stuff. That stuff started, 2000. This stuff started 9 years ago. 10 years ago actually. So like that's really,
could be a really emotional evening
it's just
for you
weird.
in a lot of ways.
It's just gonna be it's gonna be strange, and the words, the lyrics. I mean, the lyrics change their meaning over the years too. The way they approach them and what they mean to me as a performer. They've evolved, and I've sing the songs differently, and even we play the songs differently. I mean, because everyone knows, anyone who's in a band knows that playing that song you've played 100,000 times gets boring. Even your song, it's like I'm proud to play them, but like, I mean, anyone who's come to see our shows has known we have about 3 versions of some of our songs. They will just go out and play, okay, let's play this the acoustic version.
I've noticed
or
that,
the kind of, let's kind of jazz it, or no, it's boring. And I can't imagine how the people feel about it, but I'm selfish. Everything I do, I don't do it for, some people say we make music for the people. I'm glad you like my music. I'm glad the music that the band I'm in, you like. But I'm really making it because I like it.
Well, it's more honest.
I make music I like to hear, and
otherwise it might as well be a Vegas show if you're
exactly
if you're just doing something you don't want to do just to please others.
Years ago, I was doing some. This is ridiculous, but I played with a friend of mine who was doing storytelling for children, and I played keyboards and guitars for him, and I made some decent money doing it. I did a couple shows, but then I said I have to quit, because this is dishonest for me, and I'm not good at doing things I don't believe in. Like, I could never be in someone else's band that I didn't, like, singing a song I didn't believe in. It's just not me. And that's caught, again, sometimes it's foolish to me because I've turned down lots of money before for it.
Have you?
And I can't do it, though. And so, like I said, maybe it's a flaw, maybe it's a strength. I don't know.
I think that's cool. I think it's a strength. I do.
I think it is. It's honest. That's who I am, but, like, it's just... like I said, sometimes I look at some people get all these chances to play in locations. Like, here, I'm in Manchester here, and to me, in my opinion, the best club to play in is the Black Brimmer. It's a great bar, it's a great location, but you have to be a cover band, and I hate that. I hate that you need, like, the music, the band I play in. I want you to be covering my songs. I don't want to be playing other people's stuff. I want to be making the songs that you're covering eventually, because I think that's the whole. Because everyone always says, oh, you have to play other people's songs first. No, you don't. I mean, you might work those into your set if you don't have enough material, and because sometimes it's good if you have a 3-hour set to mix things in. But play your stuff. And that's, I guess, that's my advice to anyone in a band. Do what you do. All local bands, do what you do. Do what you believe. Don't do something because it's trendy. I think it's funny when nu metal came around, when hair metal was big. Then grunge came around. All the guys in hair metal bands started forming grunge bands, and then when grunge,
they all cut their hair and wore flannel.
And then grunge died out, and then nu metal came around after that eventually, and they all kind of got angry and got more. They were doing the nu metal thing. Then nu metal died, and maybe they went to, like, kind of the disco kind of rock. I know, who knows, whatever you want to call it. Everything's changed, or the emo rock, I guess, is screamo, which is the most ridiculous thing. I don't even understand that. It sounds like vomit rock, I guess I'd call it. But yeah, just do what you do, and I find that ridiculous. It's costuming to me. So it's like body, like, shape shifting or something. Just do. You should always be. If you're a guy who wears, khakis and a turtleneck, always wear the khakis and a turtleneck at the band you play. Don't start wearing different costumes. Who cares about costumes, really? Mm-hmm. So be honest. Every band, be honest, and you're going to be noticed or you're not. If you have any talent and you have any charisma, and if you're any good, you're going to get, someone will notice you. And it sounds cliche, but when you notice 1 or 2 people digging what you do, and someone you don't even know, and you see someone at a show of yours and they know the words to a song that you don't know that person, and they're enjoying it and no connection to you, it's a very magical, great feeling. And that's when you know that, like, that's kind of the whole point in some ways.
Absolutely.
It's kind of connecting that way. So it's, that's, do it up, be real, be yourself.
Well, some wise words. And, Mike, on a personal note, I just want to tell you, I'm really glad you came in for this interview. I've known you for probably about 10 years now. And I was, I've a huge Mantra fan. Absolutely, one of my all-time favorite bands from this area. I think one of my all-time favorite bands. Period. I think you guys are amazing, and you know, there's a little selfish part of me that kind of hopes you change your mind and stick around. I want to get to hear what the Glorious Noise has to offer and all that. Got a little taste of it earlier tonight. But having said that, I wish you all the luck in the world and going to New York, and I think you're going to do great there. So,
well, I appreciate that, Matt, and I feel the same way.
Oh, so. Thank you. And by the way, I want to let everybody know too, there is another acoustic song performance of Mike from the Glorious Noise among his other bands that you can check out on the Local Outbreak page on IPMNation.com. Just go to IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak after you hear this interview tonight, and you can hear another song from the Glorious Noise and hopefully get another little taste of what you're going to be able to check out on the 21st, correct? August 21st?
August 21st, 9 p.m., Gunstock Inn in Guilford.
All right, so everybody, check out that event, especially if you like what you've heard tonight, but I can tell you it's going to be really, really good. Mike Loughlin, thanks again, man. Be sure to stick around. Coming up next on The Planet is Out of the Box with Amber Cool, and we will see you all next week from here at Styling Souls in downtown Manchester. Thanks, Rob Kleiner, for working the board. Be sure to check out yourband.info, and don't forget, you can go to IPMNation.com to download or stream all the previous episodes of Local Outbreak here on The Planet. Just go to IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak. This is Matt signing off. Talk to you later.